Thanks for joining us today. I'm Gabe Garish, owner of Backwoods Pursuit, and today we're going to take a look at the October Mountain Products LAT Laser Alignment Tool. This is one of those bow tuning tools that is awesome to have in your shop when you're getting started in your bow tuning process to help you get started at a perfect center shot. You can work with the rest. You can use this for your cam alignment. There's just a bunch of different things I'm going to show you with this, and as far as how you can use it to really get you started on the right foot when you're tuning your bow. As always, I really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. A ton of other gear reviews over on the website as well, Backwoods Pursuit. Links to all that down in the description for you, as well as a link to the October Mountain Products LAT. Let's get started and look at how this thing works and functions and the different ways that you can use it. So the basics of how this thing works is that it attaches right where your bow sight attaches. So if you have your bow sight already on, then you have to take that off. This is the bow that I've already set up, but I'm going to walk you through how I started when I started at center shot with this bow and then work from there. That's the basic functionality. You've got a level here as well as a level there, so you can make sure that the bow is level on both axes. So when you're setting this up, you can do a whole lot because of that. And then you've got a laser here that spins, and so you can use that to set your nock point, set your arrow height, your rest, and also check your cam lean, that sort of thing. So let's pull this thing off and I'll show you how this works. All right, so I went ahead and pulled my sight off and start putting this on. These are just hand tightened screws and they go right into where your screws went for your bow sight. So you tighten those down. And then next up, we're going to make sure that the bow is level on this axis and this axis, utilizing this level here and this one on the end right here. All right, now that I've got this on here, I'm just going to go ahead and level my bow using this alignment level right there. I've got the OMP Micro Tune vise, so I'm just going to turn this down here till we get that perfectly aligned on that axis right there, and then also this one right here. Going to use the other alignment Micro Tune and get that one perfectly aligned like that. And so now our bow is perfectly level for the rest of our tuning process. All right, once you've got the laser attached to your bow, you can see I flipped my bow around here so you can see what I'm doing a little bit better. You're going to grab an arrow, the one that you're going to be using, and go ahead and stick it on your rest. Now the nocking point is either you've already had the bow shop if they put your string on, or it came that way new. You've already got that nocking point there, but you can change that to make sure that your arrow is going right through your burgle hole here. That's a good starting point for getting your bow tuned, and this is really going to help that. So once you've got that, you're going to utilize this spinning laser here and go ahead and turn the laser on, and you're going to have to make an adjustment here. There's a little knob right on the top right here, if you can see that very well. That is going to loosen, and then you're going to move this back and forth this way until you've got this laser perfectly pointing back here at the nock point. So once you're there, then you're going to run this all the way down your arrow, and you're going to start by making sure that this arrow, the laser is all the way out to the end of that. And I can see on this one, I'm just a little bit out of center, but don't be concerned about that if you're starting to set up your bow. You always want to start by having this perfectly centered, but in the tuning process, and this is a bow that's already tuned, you had a little bit of, it could be cam lean, it could be a number of different things that this bow tuned perfectly, just having the rest be a little bit out of center. So, but you always want to start here and get that arrow lined up perfectly. That laser should go right down the middle of that shaft, so you know that your left-right is starting out perfect using this laser alignment tool. Now once you've got that on this other side here, this little, the small level here unscrews, that guy unscrews, and you're going to go ahead and put that in the end of your arrow here so that you can test the height of your rest and make sure that your rest is going to be starting at the right height. All right, so now as you can see, I put the level on the end of the arrow here, and this is just a little bit out of level. So to fix that, if I was starting with this bow going to set it up, I would raise my rest a little bit to make that arrow just perfectly level. Now this bow is already tuned. I've done this center shot process, then go to paper tuning, arrow, broadhead tuning, and got the shooting really well. So not surprising, this Bowtech tuned a little bit nock high, about an 1/8 inch or so, which is pretty typical for them. So this is, don't be surprised and alarmed if that happens. You're just starting at dead center shot and you're going to adjust from there. It's just a really good place to start. So once we've got the arrow lined up perfectly level this way, as well as up and down, we can move to make sure that the cams are not leaning one way or the other utilizing this tool. That's another awesome feature of this, to make sure that you're starting perfectly level and that your cams aren't leaning in any way, so that you can basically start with a perfectly aligned bow and tune from there. Now to do that, you might notice here, if I go ahead and turn this laser on here, and I go ahead and try to go up the string, then I'm going to run into where my laser hits my riser right here. And depending on what kind of bow you have, you may have a problem with that. If that's the case, you're going to want to go ahead and take this off and unscrew this and flip it around backwards, so that you can utilize the laser all the way from the top to the bottom and hit both cams with it that way. All right, so flip that around. This is what it's going to look like. So now this piece is here on this side between the string and the riser rather than out front. So to flip that around, if you need to realign the laser at all, go ahead and do that. So you want to start with the laser pointing right at the nock point, because that is our starting point here, and you're going to work your way up the string all the way to where you're going to run that all the way up to the cams, and then you're going to see if that string is perfectly aligned or if you have any cam lean. Now on this one, you can see I do have a little bit of cam lean, but again, this tuned that way, so I'm not too concerned about that, and it's something that I'm going to go ahead and, normally if I was going to set this up right from the get-go, I would take that cam lean out and go check the bottom here as well. You might have to take this guy off here to check the cam lean on the bottom. Your string stop, most of the time you're going to have to do that, but then you'll follow that same thing all the way down and check your cam lean all the way down on the bottom as well. All right, so that is the OMP tru-center laser alignment tool. It's an awesome tool to add to your bow tuning tools. It's going to help you get started at that perfect center shot every time and give you a way to tune and get to the end goal quicker of getting your bow shooting perfectly. Don't be alarmed if you end up having to move it out of perfect center shot. Most bows don't tune that way anyways, but it gives you that perfect place to start with your bow tuning process. So drop any questions or comments for me. I'd love to help you out if I can on how to use this or any other questions. Again, I'll put a link to this down in the description for you so you can check it out for yourself. Thanks for joining us here today. We'll see you next time.